Hi friends! I'm Emily Johns. I'm Shauna Crook's daughter-in-law, and she asked me to kind of just walk through what Devin and I have done to make a super easy short-term food storage. It's for 2 weeks, and I will be the first person to say I am not a food storage expert at all in any way. But I have found something that has helped me and has worked for us, and so she just wanted me to share it. And since I can't come to you guys and be there in person, I'm kind of far away in Utah, but since I can't come in person, she asked me to make a video and just talk to y'all about what I've done. And so basically I've created this 2-week little food storage with dinners and breakfast and lunch. And like I said, I am not an expert. I totally got this from somebody else. If any of y'all know of or have heard of Emily Bell Freeman, she has a study group called Inklings, and they're on Instagram. And every 6 months they do a study after General Conference focusing on counsel from the prophet. And so this past 6 months, part of our study included food storage. And so it got me excited, and I finally found something that I felt like I could actually accomplish, even though we live in a rental and, you know, we're just barely out of school. And so finances aren't like, you know, coming out like a money tree or anything like that. So, anyways, it's pretty doable. So that's what I'm going to share. And so I just created a little video that kind of walks through everything I did. It has some recordings from like Instagram, from things that I've shown. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to get on Instagram or Facebook and send me messages, and we can, you know, share ideas and be friends. So my Instagram handle is emmy-jean6 if you want to find me. I'm sure Shauna can show you. And then at the end, I also will give Shauna a link so that you have access to the different kind of documents that I'm going to show you that I've used. And most of them I've just made just because I'm weird and I like to make stuff like that. So here we go on our fun 2-week food storage adventure. Like I mentioned before, the resources I used were the Inklings Institute, that's run by Emily Bell Freeman on Instagram. And if you're at all interested in that, I highly suggest it. It's amazing and an awesome study, and she's so great. And the book that they actually used when they talked about short-term food storage is this book from Amazon called It's in the Bag. And it's kind of a new approach to like short-term food storage. Basically what you're doing is you're getting all of the ingredients for a meal and you're putting it in a bag with handles, so it's super easy to grab and go if you need to take it with you, or it's just there with a recipe on it, and it's just really, really simple. So let's talk about why we need a 2-week food storage. Well, we've seen like at the beginning of the pandemic, and also like when a hurricane rolls into town and you go to the store and like all the shelves are totally bare. Like there's a run on food and supplies. So that's why it's good to have 2-week food storage. Also, it's good just in case something goes wrong at work and there's a missed paycheck, or there's job loss, or maybe illness, and you know you have to take extra sick leave. Other reasons is maybe you just can't leave the house, weather or whatever. And maybe another reason is to keep it is to be able to help and to serve others. When you have these bags ready to go on your pantry shelf, it makes it super, super easy when somebody needs a meal to just say, oh, I've got that, and just to grab it off your shelf, throw it together, and be able to take a meal to a family. And you can do it without hardly even thinking about it. It's so easy. As you're in the beginning stages of creating this short-term food storage plan for 2 weeks, these are the questions you're going to want to ask yourself before you get started. Where can you store your food? And you can get creative. I don't know if any of y'all have seen the movie The RM, but they're real creative, making a bed out of food storage. You need to ask, what do you have? What do you need? What kind of ingredients would you need to buy? And I'll show you a real easy way to figure all that out later. And the when. When can I do this? The best advice I can give is to go at your own pace. The Lord will consecrate our efforts, no matter the size of our offering, whether we can just do one a month, one meal a month, or one meal a week. Whatever it is, the Lord will help us accomplish the righteous desires of our hearts. And why do we need to do it? Well, Bishop Waddell said the Lord does not expect us to do more than we can do, but he does expect us to do what we can do when we can do it. So again, that's on our own timetable, and we can work that out with the Lord. And then how much? How much can you realistically spend each week or each month on this short-term food storage? So this is a really good place to start, just to kind of assess where you're at and how you want to move forward. So make a plan and take your time. This was a little plan that I made, and I made one kind of for the whole year, but this was the month that I was focusing on my short-term food storage. And just with money that we had been saving and different things, we were able to complete this in a month. And I felt like that was a good amount of time for me to kind of break it into smaller chunks. If you save up the money and you can do it all at once, it's kind of a fun and quick way to do it, but if you have to do it just a little bit at a time, that's totally doable too. So you could adopt this and do one of these tasks per month, but any way you split it, it kind of just makes it manageable. So first you make a plan, then you make a grocery list, then you actually shop for the groceries, and then you compile it all together at the end. These are the meal planners that you'll have access to if you would like to use them. There's a breakfast, lunch, and 2 dinner planners. I just did it that way because I wanted a different dinner every night, but I didn't really want to make different breakfasts and different lunches. So we just repeat 1 week of the breakfast, 1 week of the lunches, and then we have 2 weeks of dinners. And this is kind of a nice way to plan it out because you can write down your meals, you can write down the ingredients required from your recipe, and then there's also a column where you can write down the ingredients that you need to purchase. And it's kind of just a nice way to look at everything in your pantry and assess what you have and what you need and maybe where you're lacking. And so this is what one of these planners would look like when it's filled out. And they're also labeled on the left side. Each meal is associated with a letter and a number. And then you would organize each bag by this letter and number. So one bag would be A1, and that would be the chicken and broccoli. One would be A2, and that's the taco soup. And it's just kind of an easy way to keep it organized, I guess. You don't have to do it that way, but it's just what I tried, and it seemed to work for me pretty well. And then you can see that you can put down different things that you need to buy. With these items, or with these recipes, I tried to use some that did not require frozen meat. 1 week of dinners has more frozen meat, and then the other week has more meat that I could use from canned meat. So that's kind of a good way to look at it. Look at a way where you can really simplify your meals so that they either come from packets and just require water, or just requiring heating up something out of a can or using meat out of a can, something like that, so that they're really simple And y'all have been through emergency disaster type of situations, so you know what the reality is like when you're in them. So that'll kind of help you assess better what recipes to use. Um, so those are the meal planners. And this is basically what the bags look like when they are completed. Now, these are the ones from the woman who did them in the Inkling study, and she did use plastic bags. I preferred brown paper because, you know, if you ever get in a situation where you need to start a fire, you can use brown paper. Um, and like I showed you there, those are the things that I collected from Amazon. I did the brown paper bags, and then I also did some cutlery packets, and then I also got these little bags that I could put the mixes of seasoning I needed for the recipes into that, which you'll see in a little video that I'll show in just a couple seconds. You don't have to get all of this stuff. You could totally use Ziploc bags. This is just what I found that I liked, and I lined them all up on my table, and I had the cutlery out. I put paper plates, cutlery, napkins, and the ingredients all in these bags, and I labeled the bags beforehand so I knew which ingredients were going in which bag, and that correlates back to the meal planner that I showed you earlier. So now I'll just show you a quick video that walks through each little step of what we did along the way. So this is showing you an example recipe that I wrote down in my meal planner, and then here are all of the ingredients that I gathered from my pantry for my chicken and rice recipe. So I measured out all the spices and put them in this little bag. I measured out the oil and put it in a glass jar so it would keep. And you saw the other ingredients. I labeled the bags, and then we put all of the ingredients for each recipe into the bags. And I had an awesome helper too. And I put the cutlery in the bags, and you saw the paper plates. And that's just there to be helpful, and canned chicken. And these are the bags all completed. They all have the ingredients inside of them, and they're ready to go. And that was half of them actually. So this is my other week of recipes. And it was really late, but I was determined to get it all done. So we put all the ingredients in each bag, organized it, and then I took the recipe cards that I made and I stapled them onto the bag so that they're there, and I don't even have to worry about pulling out a recipe on my phone or from a book or anything. And then we kind of folded them up and organized them in our pantry, and I wrote the name of the meal on the side of the bag so that I could see it. And this is what it looks like completely finished with 14 dinners. And it's really handy to have them right there because if I need to grab and go, I can. So remember, when you're attempting this, to go at your own pace and keep the meals simple. They're not going to be like the best meals in the world. Just remember that if your family is fed, that's the important thing. One way that you can ensure that the food doesn't just sit there for years is take one of these meals and eat one per month. And then the next time you go to the grocery store, restock that meal bag. These meal bags are also great because you can easily just grab them and leave. And my favorite reason is that you can use them to minister to your friends and neighbors in need. If somebody needs a meal, you know you have a bag full of ingredients that can make a quick hot meal, and it won't take you a lot of time or a lot of effort really, and you'll be able to serve somebody else in need. And that probably is one of my favorite things about using this method for a short-term food storage. I know that was a really quick explanation, but I hope that it kind of helps you get an idea about how you can do a really simple and easy 2-week food storage solution for your family with breakfasts and lunches and 2 weeks of dinners. It really was effective for us. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them however you want to get in touch with me. And the recipe cards as well as the meal planners will be accessible through a link that I give to Shauna. So I hope it's helpful to you guys, and happy food storaging!